Hey there, bibliophiles and those raising bibliophiles. Thank you for joining me today on Holding Steadfast for the newest book review. If you're new to Holding Steadfast, the goal is to equip parents with the information that they need when selecting reading material for their children. I know it can be difficult when you're at the library, the bookstore, or you're online shopping to find titles that are appropriate for your children to read. The goal here at Holding Steadfast is to make that information an aspect of your life just a little bit easier to keep your children reading great books. Today's book review is Flight of the Falcon by Mark Hancock and Bryan Davis. So this particular book is part of a series that is going to come out at some point. I'm not really sure what their plan is as far as each book, but this past, I believe it was June, Flight of the Falcon came out. And if you're familiar with Trail Life USA or anything like that, this book is sort of meant to go along with that program in a sense, or to add into that fold of work, I guess is maybe the best way or not the best way to explain it. Mark Hancock runs at the highest level, Trail Life USA, and Bryan Davis is an author, particularly in fantasy. And so Flight of the Falcon, like I said, is book one, and this is a planned series titled Falcon's Quest. And so it's a Trail Life Adventure series, and so you'll see the characters in the story. So the main character, Dylan, he's struggling over the disappearance of his father. Dylan doesn't quite know how to handle the fact that his dad is missing, and what does that mean, and is he really gone? There's just lots of questions. And so he does have a teacher who's a part of Trail Life, and he invites Dylan to a camp out. Reluctantly, Dylan does attend this camp out. Before he goes, he kind of has this mysterious dream about a girl asking Dylan for help to be rescued. And so they go on this camping trip. Dylan decides to go because one of the people in his dream is an actual person who's a child who's on this camp out. And so the camping trip itself opens up even more mystery because this airplane descends into their campsite, and which is really odd. But then what's even more disturbing is that Dylan recognizes that this is the airplane that his dad was in when his dad went missing. And so there are speculations that maybe his dad was kidnapped, or maybe he was killed and someone just stole his plane. So all of that is there. And so it is a fun, adventurous story. Dylan begins to follow the clues that were left behind by his father. So he does uncover in his office some clues. And so he's following that, and he's got his Trail Life buddies now who are able to help him as he navigates trying to find his dad. And so the story is definitely meant to be engaging and intriguing for boys, a story that they would grab onto, that they would enjoy. And so there are some elements there where you kind of have to suspend, belief for some things. Like I don't know that a young boy's mom is going to be like, yeah, you go and find that kidnapped girl. But in the story, that's all part of it. So faith, family, and friendship are central themes to this novel. And the idea of bravery and courage are all great themes, and definitely something that young boys would enjoy reading. My son participates in Trail Life. He absolutely loved the story, and he can't wait for book two. It even got him thinking about how to build his own Falcon. And so if you read the story, you'll understand that that's plans were left for that by his father. And so he starts to build it. They add a camera. That's how they're spying, and they're figuring out what's going on. So I will spoil the book. The girl is saved. She is found. And it definitely leaves the book open for the next clues, because Dylan was hoping that at the end of that first sort of activity or whatnot, or event, that he would then have, once he saved the girl, he would have information about his dad. And that's not really the case. So anyhow, if you have a reader who loves adventure, or maybe is just a part of Trail Life and might enjoy that story, I think that would be an instant hit. Just full disclaimer, the book even has it. The book does not follow the safety guidelines that Trail Life itself uses. And so, I just thought that was very humorous and fun for them to include in the story itself. But a great read that I think many young boys, and definitely anyone who's involved in Trail Life or loves camping, any of that stuff, would definitely enjoy. And this book really opened up for me. I had never heard of Bryan Davis, and so I actually ended up at a writers conference like 2 weeks after I finished this book, and Bryan Davis was there. And so that was pretty cool to see him, and now kind of being able to put a face, to a name, and that he, is co-authoring this Flight of the Falcon series, or Falcon's Quest, with Mark Hancock. But then that kind of led me down a rabbit hole of Bryan Davis. And so I have gotten his Raising Dragons series. And so I'm going to read through this series as well. And it's on my next to read shelf. So soon, maybe in another month or two, I'll have some reviews. If you have a child who really likes fantasy and definitely dragons, check back. I'll have a review for that one once I finish.